3 Japanese miniatures. We're now broadcasting the second of 3 sound portraits devised and compiled by Stephen Henry Gill from Japanese and Western sources. The readers are Jim Norton, Togo Igawa, John Moffat and Megumi Shimanuki, and the subject is Moon.
All is quiet. Over the mountains the moon is now gleaming with her holy light. As the poet gazes at the great shining disk, it draws him out of himself.
雲もなき月の光に誘われて行く雲居まで行く心ぞも Allured by the light of the moon on this cloudless night, in my mind I resolved to travel with it to the farthest brim of the sky.
In Japanese poetry, the moon has come to be one of the strongest seasonal themes for autumn. It can, of course, appear in poems dealing with other seasons, but then it must be specially qualified as a summer moon, a hazy spring moon, or whatever it happens to be. Where the moon appears without qualifications, it is the harvest moon of September, the brightest of all full moons, owing to the particularly transparent atmosphere of that time of year. The air becomes dry and the sky clear after the humid summer season.
名月の出るや揺らめく花すすき The harvest moon rises over pampas grasses trembling in the breeze.
True, all the seasons have moonlit nights, but here's the best night to see the moon. The hills never so aloft, the streams never so clear. The moon and the earth are one, and myself one with them. The boundless sky above, autumn chill on my skin, I stroll about low hills, leaning on my cane. The bright moon pours streams of rays all about me. I mind it not if another, like-minded, is also admiring it, or if the moon deigns to look on others as well as me. Each year, as autumn comes, the moon will shine as before, and the world will watch it, will face it till eternity. My meditation under the moon lasts till deepest night. The stream has hushed its cry. Dew lies thick everywhere. Who among the moon viewers tonight will have the prize? Who will reflect the purest moon in the lake of his very own mind? Tonight, I keep a bright vigil, my robes soaked in tears.
Moon viewing is a common theme in Japanese poetry. It ranks with snow viewing and cherry blossom viewing as one of the 3 most favored settings for declarations of love and poetic outpourings of the soul. From ancient times, people have gathered in parties to watch and admire the autumn moon. To get the best view, they might go to the top of a hill, to the seashore, or to a riverside. It was considered lucky to be able to catch a glimpse of the 3 images of the Buddha Amitabha, which are said to be visible for an instant before the full moon comes into sight. At home, they would erect a little stand in the garden or on the veranda, placing on it offerings to the moon: rice dumplings, green soya beans, sweet potatoes, and persimmons. Sprays of the delicate pampas grass, sasuki, always associated with the moon, would be placed in vases on the stand. It was an occasion for thanksgiving. Sitting at a place from where the moon could be conveniently viewed, they would drink rice wine and partake of specially prepared food. Poems would be composed.
名月や稚児たち並ぶ銅の円 The full moon of autumn, and arrayed before it, along the temple veranda, children in a line.
月を松にかけたり外しても見たり With my line of sight, keeping hanging up the moon on the pine tree and taking it down again.
何着ても美しくなる月見かな Whatever we come wearing to the moon viewing party, anything, everything It's beautified.
名月や畳の上に松の影 The bright autumn moon, and right across the matting of the room, a pine tree shadow.
There are some extremely simple things, and their number is perhaps limited, which have an inexplicably profound meaning. The moonlight, the pine tree and its shadow, the rush mats. These are the most elemental of things, yet they suffice.
名月を取ってくれろと泣く子かな Implored by the child to reach up there and bring down for him the full moon.
He was 2 years old when, as ordained in the law of perpetual recurrence, he asked me for the moon. Unwisely, I protested, "The moon I cannot give you because it is too high up. I cannot reach it." He answered, "By taking a very long bamboo, you probably could reach it and knock it down." I said, "There is no bamboo long enough."
名月や行っても行ってもよその空 Walking on and on, however much I walked towards it, the full moon remained in another sky.
On Jugaya, the 15th day of the 8th month of the old lunar calendar, the moon is always full. If it is invisible due to bad weather, all are disappointed. They like to sit quietly in the moonlight, enveloped in its pale, bluish, soul-consoling rays.
見れば曇り、見ぬば晴れゆく月見かな Look at the moon, and it sleeps behind clouds. Turn away, and it emerges again.
A large wooden basin filled with water was placed in the garden to catch the reflection of the moon, and appropriate offerings were made. Everyone was silent, so the sounds of insects throughout the garden filled his ears as never before. He gazed earnestly into the basin. The water was dark at first, shadowed by clouds as thick as clustered seaweed. A moment later the seaweed seemed to wave, and he thought he had seen a faint glow suffuse the water. But then it faded. He could not remember how long he waited after that. Then all of a sudden, the black water in the basin, which had seemed impenetrably obscure, cleared, and there, directly in its center, shone a tiny image of the full moon. Everyone broke into exclamations of pleasure, but still he could not bring himself to look up into the sky at the moon itself, the origin of the image in the water. Rather, he kept looking down into the basin, and into the water contained by its curved sides, the reflection of his innermost self, into which the moon, like a golden shell, had sunk so deep. For at that moment he had captured the celestial. It sparkled like a golden butterfly, trapped in the meshes of his soul.
月影を組みこぼしけり蝶ズバチ The moon in the wooden wash basin, scooping it up and spilling it again.
砕けても砕けてもあり水の月 Time and again, shattering the moon, yet still it is there, reflected on the water.
The moon itself retains its perfect shape and serenity, in spite of the commotion of the water. Our attainment of enlightenment is something like the reflection of the moon on the water. The water is the phantom flux of sensations and ideas. The full moon, not its distorted image, is the sole truth. The moon does not get wet, nor is the water cleft apart.
Any man who supposes the moon is always the same, regardless of the season, must be somewhat insensitive. The man who has never hesitated under a misty moon on a night fragrant with plum blossoms, or who has no memories of the dawn moon in the sky as he started to walk through dewy gardens inside the palace gate, had best have nothing to do with love. And how lovely is the moon, almost greenish in light, when seen through the tops of the cedars deep in the mountains, or when it hides for a moment behind clustering clouds during a sudden shower. The moon that appears close to dawn after we have long waited for it moves us profoundly, and the autumn moon is incomparably beautiful. There is something forlorn about the waning winter moon, shining cold and clear in the sky, unwatched.
The Japanese are lovers then of spring moonlight, when the moon's tender, mellow, relaxing shadow is cast all over the hazy, vaporous earth.
梅がかの立ち上り手や月の傘 Scent of the plum blossoms lifting, ascending and turning into the moon's halo.
Everything was quiet. The spring moon irradiated faintly the grasses and thickets, and not a breath of wind. Suddenly, down the river, he heard the sound of a net being thrown into the water. No boat, no fisherman was to be seen, only the faint circle of the moon shining down on the darkness. Again there was silence. It was the perfect accompaniment of the misty moon, nature with just a touch of man, silence with now and then that faint sound. And then,
女大手川渡りけりおぼろ月 I carried the lady on my back across the river under the hazy moon of spring.
Tsuyu, the rainy season, generally lasts about 1 month from the middle of June. It is the most disagreeable season in Japan. Drizzling rain continues day after day, and dampness penetrates into everything. The moon, having been hidden night after night by the continuous rainfall, appears when least expected as something new.
さみだれやあるや密かに松の月 For long the rains of June, but one evening, as if in secret, the moon in the pines.
The moon of summer has a free and easy, slightly indifferent yet friendly nature. There is something innocent in it. The moon is large and shines over all with faint delight. The house a black silhouette against the sky, the grasses with it. A sleeping child, water glittering and dark by turns. The soft, earnest face of a young mother. Here is calm and freedom from the cares of the day.
寝せつけしこの洗濯や夏の月 She has put the child to sleep, and now, under the summer moon, quietly washing the clothes.
In early autumn, the moon is so eminently viewable that it is held responsible for everyone's needing a midday nap. There may be some villages that cannot taste the sea bream, the nicest of fish, or cannot enjoy the sight of cherry blossoms, the most beautiful of flowers. But the charming blessing of the harvest moon is enjoyed impartially by all the villages throughout Japan. A quiet hamlet is indeed the most fitting place from where to contemplate it. When the frail pampas grass blooms, and its plumes flutter and tremble in the autumn breeze,
芋を煮る鍋の中まで月夜かな The moonlit night, through everything, even in the pan with boiling potatoes.
Last night, gazing at the bright moon, I sought an inn. Today I must continue my journey. In the early morning, as I left the inn, I looked up at the sky and saw the moon, pale and faded, hanging above the roof.
忘れられた月がある宿を出てゆく Off again, leaving behind, at last night's inn, the now forgotten moon.
November. The leaves have been falling day by day. Only a few now remain silhouetted against the evening sky. A cold dew comes down. The moon glows palely on the horizon.
サザンカのこのまみせけり後の月 showing up new gaps between the branches of the Sazankwa tree. The late autumn moon.
An icy moon hangs in the cold sky, and the ground is covered with the mantle of snow on which the shadows of bare trees lie like skeletons. The temple is in the shade, the chilly moon shining over the roof onto a man of all work, who is late with his firewood. The axe flashes up and down in the light of the moon. The crash of wood sounds clear in the silent night. The white light of the wintry moon shines especially chill upon the head of the old man.
雪よりも寒し白髪に冬の月. Even the snow is not as cold. The frosty hairs of old age under the winter moon.
The colour of the evening was descending from chasms between the peaks. The dim brightness of the winter afternoon seemed to have been sucked into the snow-covered earth. A mountain, cut at the top into curious notches and spires, fell off in a graceful sweep to the far skirts. Over it the moon was rising. The solid, integral shape of the mountain, taking up the whole of the evening landscape there at the end of the plain, was set off in a deep purple against the pale light of the sky. The moon was no longer an afternoon white, but richly coloured. It had not yet taken on the clear coldness of the winter night.
赤い月、これは誰のじゃ、子供たち。This red moon, full and rising. Tell me, children, whose is it then?
This moon belongs to no particular person, and at the same time it belongs to all children and to all men and women.
人流れ、人去ってただ月ばかり. Men flow by, men depart, but the moon never leaves.
The moon riding above the frozen snow of winter, the moon blurred by the haze of spring, the moon through withered grasses bent forlornly by the autumn wind, the various seasonal moods of the moon, sinking deeply into the mind, have given rise to poetry in Japan for 1,000 years. The lines of these brief poems become paradoxically gentle and dynamic, and they are imbued with that mysterious force which is the significance of the common man. Under the bright rays of the moon, all is purified. Cowardice and heroism, cruelty, kindness, and sentimentality.
犬を撃つ、石のさてなし、冬の月。Looking around in vain for a stone to throw at the barking dog, light of the winter moon.
盗人に取り残されし窓の月. A burglar has been, but left something behind. He could not take the moon at the window.